welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I am your host, Sam Randazzo, and I am joined by my two very esteemed co-hosts. To my right, it is the one and only Uncle Sam.
Hello.
And behind the soundboard for the last time during
Smoking his own stogie.
Season 1, absolutely flapping around his own flounder, it is Bruce, the tugboat.
Last time.
Vendidity. For the last time.
What?
He's so high.
What
He
the
heard me
fuck?
say the last
This
time.
idiot doesn't know
It
that. This is
honed
the
in on
last
it.
episode of the fucking
The
year.
last episode
Whoa.
of Season 1.
Dumbass.
Take a break here, huh?
What are you talking about?
Firing me. You're fired,
No, now
Bruce.
I know.
You're
Now I
out.
know
You're
what you're
fired.
talking about.
I said the last episode of Season 1.
Dumbass.
This is our last
that makes
episode
sense.
of
That
Season
makes
1
sense
of
now.
Tipped Balls.
That makes sense now.
There we go. So you're good now,
Yes,
right?
I'm up.
There, you
You're
got.
good.
Hey, you know what? You got the
up
name
to
to edit
track.
this too. You already got the fucking the name for this episode.
Which is what?
You're fired, Bruce.
You're fired. Okay.
Goodbye, Bruce.
Goodbye, Bruce.
Actually, we made it. Do you want to know something?
Actually,
Yeah.
that wouldn't be a good idea because Bruce Willis, the news about him, and the whole dementia thing.
What? So everybody in the world.
Well,
named
if we
Bruce
say
can't have any-
goodbye, Bruce, people might think he,
No, everybody knows.
We're gonna send you on the road just like Bill Bixby used to do. He had his little duffel bag with him going to the next town.
Hey,
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
The Incredible Hulk. You ever watched The Incredible
I
Hulk?
did.
Bruce Banner. He would put his little duffel bag on and walk to the next town.
okay. So we started this thing
A
called
little bit before your time, guys. I don't think you're born yet. You're still in your daddy's bag.
Are we good now?
Yes.
We started this thing called Tip Balls a little over a year ago. It was actually like 54 weeks. We went 2 weeks over because we started right before the Super Bowl. I don't know why we decided to start a football podcast 2 weeks
It
before
was
the Super Bowl.
playoffs.
That was pretty dumb.
It was playoffs.
Yeah, but our first episode came out. It was the week after the AFC and NFC Championship game, I
Correct.
believe. Either way,
Oh, true.
we made it through a year. This will be our 94th episode.
That's incredible.
94 episodes.
For 100 episodes, what do we do for the fans out there?
A whole lot of fucking nothing. So,
I hear you.
yeah. So we're gonna take time today to reflect on the season. First, we're gonna talk about some news, some shit going on in the NFL right now, and we'll end the show with what you guys can look forward to after we take our small hiatus. So. Today's the first day. What the fuck are you doing?
Oh, God.
He's got Forge the Empire. on the
Dude, I'm
screen
clicking
right now.
links, okay?
Today's first day that the franchise tag is available. So they came out this morning and announced franchise tag prices by position. So quarterbacks under the tag will be making $32.4 million, running backs $10.1 million, wide receivers $19.75 million, tight ends $11 and $11.3 million, and so on and so forth. Some other ones: defensive end $19, defensive tackle $18, linebackers $20, so on and so forth. In all reality, the biggest position that's going to be inflicted with these tags is quarterback, and now it's looking like it could also be some running backs who are going to have to play under the tag, i.e. Josh Jacobs could be someone who picks up a franchise tag. Obviously, when it comes to the franchise tag conversation, there's one massive name on everybody's mind, and that's Lamar Jackson. Obviously, everybody thinks there's a very good chance the Ravens will do that. People close to him and the Ravens have both said that they think that's what's going to happen.
Well, he said he's not playing under the tag.
And he said he's not going to
He
play.
refuses. He will sit the entire year. He has no reservations
trade.
of doing that.
So we could see a tag and trade, something we will see. But it's going to be very interesting going
He wants
forward.
$50 million guaranteed. That's crazy.
Do you think that's crazy?
I think that's crazy.
Why?
I just do.
I mean, you have to.
He wants a contract just like Deshaun Watson got.
Well,
And Cleveland is inept. We know that. And Baltimore does not do those things.
no, but you don't think Lamar Jackson's worth Deshaun Watson money?
Do I think he is? I don't have a problem with the money. I have a problem with the fully guaranteed.
Well,
I mean, how are you going to fully guarantee a contract if you got a guy that's been hurt in the past and been on IR, and you can't pay a guy $50 million because of just how much that eats up on the cap?
well, you've got to remember, we're in a new world now. Quarterbacks are going to want 90% of their contract fully guaranteed.
He wants a 7-year deal, $50 million a year.
Yeah,
You don't think that's
$250 million guaranteed? Do I think
a lot of money,
that's,
man?
you have to really, Baltimore's not that sold on him. So you
They're
know
obviously
it's
not.
gonna
I mean,
happen.
come on, look at every year it comes up when this guy gets a contract. He's got a battle to get the loose change he's got.
Correct, and it ain't gonna happen.
They're not in love with him. I don't think they do it.
So obviously, a lot of speculation on where he could end up. I've seen Tampa Bay. I have seen Detroit. Where do you? I mean, if he's not with Baltimore next year, where do you see Lamar being a good fit?
If you're Lamar Jackson, the teams that need quarterback right now, and even some teams that probably don't need it, that they're willing to talk to. I think it all matters on who has the most to give. If Matt Stafford got 3 first-round picks for him,
Yeah. Yeah.
what do you think Lamar Jackson's worth?
Probably.
You think he's worth 3 first-round picks?
I do.
I would say yes.
I do.
And what teams have that kind of power going forward? You'd have to look at these teams. Some of these teams are at the lower end of the totem pole, have that kind.
I mean, Atlanta's an interesting one that I saw today.
Atlanta
would be an interesting fit.
I think his skill set fits for what they do there. I mean,
I agree.
that's
But if you're
absolutely
Atlanta,
crazy.
If you're Atlanta, do you stop for a second and think, hey, you know what? Yeah, it'd be nice to have Lamar Jackson this year, but we don't.
Here we go again. You got Lamar Jackson. You put him on the Atlanta Falcons. What has he got?
Nothing.
Well,
That's what I'm
what
saying.
kind of weapon does he have
What
to
I'm
work
saying is, wouldn't you rather roll the dice?
Kyle
this year?
Pitts?
Yeah.
You're going to give up Mark Andrews for Kyle fucking Pitts? What the fuck, man? Really?
Well, but that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
Just
I'm not trying to be an asshole here, but
No, if you're
I'm trying
Atlanta, with everything
Right.
else that your team needs, do you mortgage the future and bring in Lamar Jackson to a mediocre team, or do you roll the dice with Desmond Ridder for a year and see what the fuck happens? You don't even know
but
what
then
you have in
you're
this
out
thing.
of the bidding. You're out of. You don't roll on this guy now. You're out. You're out of the
Correct.
fucking bidding to get a guy.
But that's
with his talent.
That's why I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I mean, okay, outside Atlanta, who else
Just New
would
Orleans.
this guy fit the set of the team?
Nola, I agree with Bruce. I think the Saints would be a good fit, but the Saints aren't. I don't think the Saints are.
At least the Saints have weapons, though.
The Saints have weapons, but the Saints aren't in. Again, you've got to.
I don't think they have the collateral to
exactly.
shovel in there.
Well,
You're looking at 3 first-round picks, at least a first this year. How many teams have first-round picks this year? You got 3 teams that have 2 picks in the first round.
correct. And
So
it's
there's-
Philadelphia,
Right.
who's not looking. Detroit, who
I mean, what
I
do you do
don't-
if you're Detroit? You give up Jared Goff and sign Lamar Jackson?
I don't think.
I
they
don't
do.
and
like
give
the
away
idea.
that
I don't think
collateral they
do,
built
right,
up for the
and I don't
Matt
think it's a good
Stafford trade?
idea.
exactly. I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do that because they're more than a fucking player or two
As much
away.
as I would love to see him play with the receivers we have, it's not a good idea, and it's
So
Let me ask you a question. Okay, the New England Patriots openly have said that they are willing to shop Mac Jones. They're open for business.
correct.
Do they want to shop Mac Jones? Do you think Lamar Jackson would like to play for Bill Belichick?
Absolutely not.
no.
Do you think Bill Belichick would like Lamar Jackson?
No,
Really?
I don't see that working out.
Okay.
I don't.
I'm just throwing that out there.
I don't know where.
I
don't
wouldn't
see
want to end
Lamar
up like
going-
Cam Newton.
I
I'm
don't
sorry?
see Lamar going anywhere.
Lamar is not Cam Newton.
I know, but I
Don't even
wouldn't
go
end up
there.
Like him.
I don't see Lamar Jackson going anywhere this year. I see him sitting at home.
Sitting at home the whole year?
Yep, I do. But it's interesting that you just said what you said about Mac Jones because People all around the NFL right now. Jeff Darlington said this morning that Mac Jones, after going after coaches during games this season, drew the ire of people around the Patriots organization, including Bill Belichick. He was going after his coaching staff and the team. Drew a ton of criticism, especially amongst Robert Kraft and around other leaders of the league. So, with that being said,
Do you think we've seen the last of Mac Jones?
I think we've seen the last of Mac Jones in a Patriots uniform.
Or maybe in any uniform?
Well, I don't think in any uniform.
I mean, how many guys did it rub the wrong way?
That's the whole thing. Here's the other thing. They said yesterday, I can't remember who it was. I fucking can't find it on here now. That's what I was looking for. But somebody close to the Patriots organization came out and said that the difference between Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi in their eyes is, quote unquote, next to nothing. So
you don't have to pay Mac Jones.
Yeah.
And Bailey Zappi is on a second-year deal. You don't have to pay him for another 2 years.
They probably pay him.
So they
nothing.
They roll with Zappi, so they're looking for a quarterback then, obviously.
They're looking for a quarterback. But here's an interesting thing that Ben Volin, I don't know, Volin, a senior reporter for the NFL Network, said today, if you remember a couple shows ago, I talked about how Brady pushed back here we go. His Fox broadcasting career a year and didn't really give an explanation as to why. Well, now people are starting to suggest that due to the fact that he did that, and also today opted not to sign a revised contract with Tampa Bay to take some of his cap number off the books. Because if you look at it, Tampa Bay, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more, Tampa Bay is not in a good situation with the cap. And it might cost Chris Godwin his position on the team. But if Brady were to have done this to help the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out, it would have greatly lowered his $35 million cap hit for this year. Because he did not sign that, realistically, he can sign with any team he wants as of March 1st. I'm not saying anything. I'm not implying anything.
Listen, he's not going to the Patriots. They don't have the roster to even bring this guy on. It would be a waste of fucking time.
Going to the Patriots isn't what I'm looking for. I'm still holding out that glimmer of hope for my 49ers one and done. But
no, he's not going. I don't see the Patriots bringing him back. I don't
either. I mean,
I don't.
How
I don't see him.
Though?
You know what? After seeing the last little thing he did, I don't think he wants to play anymore.
Yes, but then
I think he's done.
And Robert,
he's had enough.
What explanation do you have for him not doing that?
He's keeping his money. He don't want to give up any of his money. I wouldn't either.
For a year.
He's fucking retiring. He wants every penny he can get.
Okay, this is not somebody who's,
Listen,
$600 million.
Listen, he's due that money. And for him to turn it down is stupid.
He's not turning it down. He's deferring it for a year. Big fucking deal.
It doesn't matter.
That's interesting.
It's his cash.
The door.
It's his money.
Open.
You agreed to a contract. You have to uphold the contract. And I'm talking about the Buccaneers agreed to pay him that money.
The door's still open.
I'm sorry?
The
door is not open. I think it's closed. I don't think he's coming back. Thank God. And just stay where you're at, dude. Get your life straight. Stop fucking holding on to it.
We need to talk about one more quarterback because Giants.
Bruce is very high right now and doesn't know where we're at.
I do.
Okay.
Who am I about to talk about?
I missed what you were saying.
Oh, okay. The Giants have offered quarterback Daniel Jones.
Zoom in on this, Mike. Zoom in on it.
An extension worth around it was around 5 years, $35 million a year, to which he turned down and reportedly scoffed at. Daniel Jones said that he will not sign for anything less than $45 million per season, anything less than 5 years, and anything less than $150 million guaranteed.
Okay, I'm going to say that this is a tactic that he's using to bump up the price. I don't blame him. Do it. Get as much money as you can out of them. You want to know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because they fucking treated him with nothing but disrespect. Nothing but disrespect. They didn't want to bring out the 5th-year option on him. They turned that down. And now, because he came on at the end of the year, took them to the playoffs, now you're going to say, oh, now we're going to re-sign you. They have no faith in him, and he needs to suck them for whatever money he can get out of them. That's the only right thing to do.
Okay.
Fuck giving them a discount.
Now, the next question here is, if you were the Giants, would you pay? So if they're at 35 and he said, no, he's at 45 and they ain't going to give it, would you pay Daniel Jones $200 million? $40 million a year over 5
$40
years.
million a year for 5 years? Yeah,
And let's say $1.25 fully
I would
guaranteed.
do it. I'm sure there's teams out there that would do it.
I don't know if I could swallow that one.
What?
I just don't
He
know. If I
played
could.
very well at the end of the year, man.
Yes, he did.
With little to nothing and help.
Yes, he did.
I mean, outside Saquon Barkley, who's probably going to get franchised,
Well, that's the next.
they're going to franchise either him or Jones, one of the two.
Well, now that's another huge elephant in the room is, what do you do with Saquon Barkley?
Well, you can only franchise one of them.
Well, yeah.
I think it's Barkley's getting franchised.
Well, I think it makes more sense to franchise Barkley because he wants more than $12.5 million per year.
Right. And what did you say? The
10.1.
10.1, which is a nice season. 10.1 million for one season. Very nice.
Well,
And then he's a free agent after that. So
correct. I'll be honest with you. Josh Jacobs, I think he gets the tag.
yes,
Saquon Barkley,
I think he
don't
gets a tag.
think he gets the tag.
I think he does.
I think they're going to let Saquon walk. I really do.
You know what?
You
If
wanna
they
know
had
what?
a guy in the back, a guy in a backup situation to say, hey, this guy could be our lead guy, they don't have that.
I got news.
So
for
that's
you.
why I see them tagging him.
The Giants aren't that fucking smart, though.
Okay.
The Giants are not that smart. I think
I don't know
they're
about
gonna
that.
let
I
him
think they've
walk.
done a good job within the past year, putting a nice team together.
I just got to. That's just
Real
a gut
good
feeling.
core receivers too.
That's here we go.
They don't have a fucking core of receivers, dumbass.
Yeah, they need to draft as many as they
That's
can.
the point.
Yeah.
Um,
The guys they got, they need to let walk. Kennedy Galladay, gone.
Galladay.
He needs to go. Who else they got there that you can even count on? Who's the kid that got hurt? Wandale Robinson?
Wendell Robinson.
He wasn't bad. He's not bad, but he got hurt. You keep Slayton. He's about the only productive guy they got
Dude,
that's not
there ain't
healthy.
nobody there worth keeping. There's nobody.
that's
I mean,
what I'm trying to
Darius
say.
Slayton and Isaiah Hodgins.
That kid actually played pretty well the last 5-6 games of the year. He was on fire.
Either way, the Giants' whole thing. I mean, that could be a one and done year for them.
Yeah.
What they did this year.
What
If they
I'm
lose
hearing
either of
rumors
those
that
two
Odell
pieces-
Beckham Jr. might sign with the Giants too.
I can't
go
believe
back
you
to where
actually
it started.
said- I can't believe you brought him up.
Yeah.
Did you like that?
That's crazy.
Do I like him?
Do you like anything about it?
No, I don't. If I was them, I wouldn't even re-sign him
Oh, okay.
for the way he left.
Okay.
I mean, you gotta. At what point do you forgive and forget? I mean, he's been gone now. What? 4 years from there? 5 years?
5 years, yeah.
5 years from the Giants. I mean, I guess he could go back and mend things up with them and be productive.
I don't see that being a good fit. I just don't.
No.
I just don't. No. You don't want to know something? Odell, the reason why he worked with the Rams is because there was so many.
He didn't have to be the lead guy.
Correct. He didn't have
Yeah.
to be the guy, and he also wasn't the biggest
So where does he go?
name.
So where does he go? He still hasn't signed anyone.
Honestly, you want to know where I could really...
Where do you think he's going?
I think Odell Beckham will be a Dolphin next year.
A Dolphin?
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Why?
That's interesting.
There's too much competition there for him.
But this is what you're forgetting. He's not a number one. And
Yeah, I
guess
get
what?
that.
On most teams, he's probably not a number two.
It's a pride thing. They don't have a fucking quarterback that's fucking won't blow away in the wind.
Guess what? He gets to stay in Miami. He lives in Miami now. Gets to stay in Miami. You're not the biggest personality on the team.
I'm sorry?
He's
Catch
not
a
the
few
biggest
passes.
personality on
Really?
the team. He's not.
Okay. Who's bigger than him?
I'd say Tyreek Hill's bigger than him in a heartbeat.
Well,
Absolutely.
Tyreek Hill's also a lot better player than he is.
Absolutely. But you have to remember there would be no pressure on him going there.
Okay.
And that's the kind of situation that
As a third
Jog
option.
him out there for a
Correct.
few plays. Toss
Yeah.
him the ball.
you know what I'm saying?
Come
He
off
goes
the
out
field.
there for 7 or 8 snaps a game, goes for 60 and a touchdown once a week, and you're done. And that's all I think he's capable of. And I don't think there's any part of Odell Beckham that thinks he's going to walk into any team in the league right now and be a number one guy. I don't. I think Miami fits him perfect. Because guess what? As we saw
You know,
this
I can
year,
see him going back to Cleveland.
oh, jeez.
Something tells me he's going to go back to Cleveland.
Absolutely not.
Put him, Amari Cooper, all them young receivers there, the couple of young guys they got.
There's still too much pressure on him.
No, there ain't no pressure on him. Amari Cooper's the number one there.
Cleveland wouldn't have him back if he was the last receiver.
Got Donovan
in the NFL.
Peoples-Jones. That's a nice little fucking repertoire there with Deshaun Watson.
Listen to me.
You know,
Yeah,
Weirdo
Cleveland
Watson.
wouldn't
that
have
way.
him back if he was the last
Rub
one.
and Tug Watson.
We need to talk about another big name wide receiver.
Okay.
You look comfortable over there. Are you comfortable?
I'm high.
Are you?
On life.
Saints wide receiver Michael Thomas. Obviously,
This guy.
when
here.
healthy and actually playing, one
Very
of the
productive.
most dominant receivers in the league. Where is he going? Because it's been, I mean, we haven't had any
Is he a
sort of
cap hit?
good production out of Michael. Well, I'm
Is
pretty
he going to be a cap hit? It looks like it.
I think, well, here's the thing. I don't see him staying with the Saints at all. I mean, you think when you have a guy that's that good,
They really don't need him.
and they really don't need him. Now, where do you see him going?
I don't know.
There was one.
Kansas City?
There's one that jumps off. Actually, two that really jump off the board at me.
Baltimore?
Pro Football Focus put out a
I
list
was
of
thinking about
possible teams, and it was the Saints, Baltimore, Kansas City, Buffalo, or Chicago. Out of that list,
Chicago?
I see Baltimore and Chicago being absolute perfect targets. Baltimore,
Be a good. Chicago would be a really good fit for him.
Especially
Especially with Justin Fields being so young. You need somebody there that's solid. They
Well-
need a solid receiver bad.
Baltimore makes sense because every wide receiver you
Demarcus
have
Robinson.
Yeah, but if
there, you have
it's-
absolute,
Deshaun Jackson.
you have
The ghost of Deshaun Jackson.
You have no expectations for any receivers in Baltimore, so it's
Right.
perfect for him there. And two, if you go to the Bears, they will sign you for way too much money, and you can do absolutely nothing and continue to get paid, which is exactly what Michael Thomas did with the Saints for so many years.
stub his
So,
toe.
yeah,
and-
Chicago.
Well, for the
makes
last
perfect
3 years,
sense.
that's what he's
Exactly.
done.
Go to Chicago.
Last 3 years, he's been irrelevant.
Go to Chicago. They'll pay you 15, 16 million a year, and you'll put up
Sprain your
Darnell
pinky.
Mooney numbers.
sprain
Yeah,
your pinky.
It's perfect.
And get an extension.
Yeah,
come
exactly.
off.
We got to talk about the Washington football team, the Commanders. Obviously, they've signed a new offensive coordinator in Eric Bieniemy. I think he's probably one of the best coordinators in football, in my opinion.
Well,
You can agree or disagree with me. I know
we,
you'll
we
probably
don't know that
disagree.
for sure. Because now I'm hearing that Andy Reid was calling most of the plays. I don't know. I'm starting to wonder.
Well,
Why hasn't this guy got a fucking opportunity to be a head coach? It absolutely fucking
maybe it
befuddles
is
me.
because it's
You
all
got
Andy
two
Reid.
guys that were on Philadelphia that are now head coaches in this league, and this guy isn't. Well, what the fuck is wrong with this pitcher here?
Either way,
Am I wrong? I mean,
I don't know.
I think I'm wrong.
I
Is
don't
this guy
think you're
that
wrong.
horrendous at interviewing for a head coaching job?
Maybe he is.
And
But
he's interviewed with many teams.
maybe Andy Reid just gets all the credit. Either way, do you think it's a little odd that Ron Rivera essentially came out, swore off every other quarterback option outside of Sam Howell?
Okay.
Or do you think that Bieniemy sees something in this guy and they're going to work together as a team, and it is going to be the Sam Howell show, and it's his job to lose. Do you think he chose this job because of Sam Howell?
I truly think that Bieniemy just wanted out of Kansas City.
He wanted to get out of the shadow?
He wanted to get out of the shadow and prove himself. So hopefully, he's the guy who everybody thinks he is. Because guess what? If they start out the year fucking shitting the bed hard, he's going to be the fucking scapegoat.
Do you think Washington wins more than 9 games this year?
In that division?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see them winning 9 games in that division.
Wow. So that means you got to figure in a win against Philly, a win against the Giants, and a win against the Cowboys.
They have to split.
Yeah.
They have to split unless they beat somebody twice.
It'll be interesting.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do. Are you trying to rebuild? Are you? I mean, they got a good team. We've seen what they have. Defensively, they're a juggernaut.
Oh, defensively, I don't think there's any question.
Yeah, but they could lose to Ron Payne here, and from what I'm hearing, Detroit has a lot of interest in him.
Oh, you would
talking
just
about what?
You'd have the fucking most stiff Pringles can in the world if that happened, wouldn't you?
Ron Payne. I look at it this way: you get to Ron Payne, you sign him as a free agent. You don't waste that first pick on a fucking defensive tackle. You get an edge rusher. You know who that means, don't you? You move up from fucking 6, and you grab the best player in the draft. And who's that? Who's the best player in the draft?
You're the draft.
Who's the best defensive player in the draft?
You're the draft expert here.
Who's the best defensive player
Will
in the draft?
Anderson.
Huh?
Will Anderson.
There you go. Take Will Anderson. You move up, take Will Anderson. Because here's what's going to happen. Chicago's going to take Jalen Carter. He's the best defensive lineman in the draft, period.
Are you so sure about that?
I do. I think they're taking him.
Because that led me perfectly into my next point. There are still people around the NFL who believe that the Chicago Bears are going to draft Bryce Young at 1-1 and trade Justin Fields.
Well, I had said that last time we were talking.
I think that's absolutely
You didn't
insane.
think it was feasible at the time.
I don't, and I still don't. But I know you have brought this up. Do you think there's a possibility that happens? Do you think there's that much of a jump?
If you're the Chicago Bears and you know all these people want a quarterback right now, there's at least 3 teams that need a fucking quarterback bad. And they want one of these rookies. Do you see them giving up the collateral to move to 1 to give to Chicago, and Chicago give away that pick?
Well, this is the $1 million question. You like Todd McShay, correct? Is he one that you like?
He's pretty reputable guy. I don't think he's a douchebag.
Todd McShay says Alabama quarterback Bryce Young is more than likely to be the next Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. Well, when you say something like that,
if you believe that, if you are anyone in Chicago's front office and you believe that, then yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Let's look at Bryce Young in a whole. He's about Tua's size. They're about the same size. I think he's a hair bigger than Tua. One thing I could say about this, he runs better than Tua. A little more accurate throwing than Tua because his completion percentage was higher than Tua's.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you take a chance on a 6-foot-tall quarterback? 6'1", 200-pound quarterback in this league.
Oh, it worked out for the Chiefs.
It's worked out for a lot of guys. Kyler Murray.
Oh.
I mean, say what you want to say. The guy's talented. He's fucking talented.
Absolutely.
He's a game wrecker. When he's on the run, he's a game wrecker.
Correct. I mean,
and I actually think that Bryce Young throws the football better than those guys do. That's my opinion.
So you think there's a possibility Bryce Young comes in this league and is the next Patrick Mahomes?
I think it's absolutely possible. Absolutely.
You think he's that good?
If you're asking me, is he better than Justin Fields? You know what? I would say, yeah. He throws the ball better than Justin Fields.
Okay. Yes, he might be a better quarterback than Justin Fields. But if you are Chicago, do you pass up on taking somebody else at 1-1 in order to take him and then dealing with having to get rid of Justin Fields? And then on top of that, dealing with the pressure that then befalls on Bryce Young with doing that, because if you drafted a quarterback,
They're going to trade if they trade Justin Fields, and they would have to trade him.
correct.
Okay, who's a buyer for Fields? Who does his skill set fit? They need to find a buyer for Fields, and I think that's going to be a little short.
You can get rid of Minnesota, Detroit, and Green Bay, 'cause they would never trade him in division, so that's out. Most likely, they probably wouldn't want to trade him in conference, so that brings in AFC teams. I mean, I don't think he really fits Indianapolis' scheme. I don't really think he fits New England's scheme. The Jets, that's an interesting one, I guess.
Say what you want to say about the Jets. They have the collateral.
The Jets have the collateral.
They have the collateral to put up to get a guy like this without destroying their entire team.
Correct. But also, again, if you're the Jets, do you want to deal with that? Do you want to? Yes, Justin Fields had a very good year.
The Jets need a fucking veteran quarterback.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
They don't need a young. They got 2 young guys there right now. They need a veteran quarterback that's still a viable product.
I see Vegas pops into my head, but I don't see Josh McDaniels and Justin Fields working well. I just don't think he fits that scheme.
It doesn't necessarily have to be an AFC team. It could be an NFC team.
Who are they going to trade him to in the NFC?
Well, who needs quarterback in the NFC? Carolina? Atlanta?
Yeah, those two make sense.
He fits the Atlanta scheme that they're running there right now.
Correct. He would work really well.
He would look exactly.
But again, if you're Atlanta, do you want to mortgage your future and give up on Desmond Ridder this quick?
I mean, Atlanta's one of the only teams that have the clout to do it. The problem is how many of these teams have the draft collateral that you're going to need to do that.
I hate to crush your dreams here off the rip.
Okay.
But it looks like the Commanders are going to use their tag on Deron Payne.
Oh, shit.
You didn't think of that one. You didn't think about that one, did you?
That's possible.
Okay. Moving on from Justin Fields. I want to talk about a running back.
Okay.
And one for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that is Najee Harris. Obviously kind of an up and down year for him this year.
He tore it up at the end of the year.
He had a very, very slow start, but definitely at the end of the year showed us what potentially he had. There's a lot of... He was supposed to take the league by storm this year, coming off the year he had prior. Do you think Najee Harris is a top 5 back in this league going into next year?
Yeah, because he's going to get the carries.
We said the same thing about him this year.
Yeah.
I was extremely high on Najee Harris, and he was a big, big disappointment for 3/4 of the year.
Listen, they had a rookie quarterback that was trying to work his way into a fucking lineup. And when defenses know what you're doing, they basically know that they're going to line it up and try to run it down your throat. And it's real simple. You stop Najee Harris, you stop the Steelers. Until Kenny Pickett evolved into somebody that could actually put the ball downfield without throwing a fucking interception like he did for the first 4 or 5 games, they turned it around. Near the end of the year, they were a dangerous team. Nobody wanted to fucking play them. Najee Harris was hot. Kenny Pickett was playing real well. George Pickens come out of nowhere.
Okay, you got to remember what division the Steelers are in too.
They're in the roughest division in that conference.
I mean, it's going to be a bloodbath between Baltimore, depending on what happens with Lamar,
Cincinnati,
Cleveland
is going to be a lot better next year.
I don't believe that, but okay.
Well, they can only get better. They were fucking horrid.
What makes you think they could get better?
Well, they could get better. I mean, you brought a quarterback in that hasn't played in 2 years. So that means something. God bless Jacoby Brissett. That guy played his ass off this year. The talent ain't there, but he fucking tried his ass off. And I was really impressed with him.
You got something on your chin. Anyways, moving on. Max Chadwick.
Who?
Reporter.
Okay.
Had this to say about Anthony Richardson. His physical tools aren't just the best among all quarterbacks in this class, They are probably the best we've seen since Cam Newton coming out of college in 2011.
Do we need
He
to
should
talk
be,
about that?
he is the best player in this draft and should be taken as such. Do you believe, after all this hype about Bryce Young, that Anthony Richardson is comparable to him?
Anthony Richardson won't even be drafted in the first round, so I don't even know why they're going there with
You
that.
think he's going to Malik Willis it, eh?
Well, I mean, people had Malik Willis last year going in the top 5.
Well, yeah, remember the Lions were supposed to take him at 2?
Yeah. And you've seen what happened to that, right?
Yeah, that was awful.
Thank you, Jesus.
What was it? The 4th round went on, and
Yeah.
they were still waiting. He was still
Wherever.
waiting to get fucking drafted.
You
Give
think
me a break,
you
dude.
think Anthony Richardson's going to pull a Malik Willis this year then?
Well, I think he's got a good skill set, but I don't think he's anywhere near the physical specimen that Cam Newton was.
Cam Newton was.
He's not 6'5" and runs a fucking 4.4 40. He's nowhere near that, dude. Yeah. At 240 pounds, Cam Newton was a fucking physical beast.
I mean, Anthony Richardson's 6'4", 231.
Okay. He still is not Cam Newton. Cam Newton was a
40-yard dash
big,
was 4.4.
strong kid. Huh?
4.4 40.
He runs a 4.4 40?
Yeah.
Damn. I'm impressed. Well, like I said, I don't think he's a first-round pick. Because if he was as good as Bryce Young or those guys, he'd be going in the top 3.
I would have to.
And I don't see him going. I don't see any team moving up to grab him in the top 3.
We're going to jump over to a different position now. Out of the top 10 tight ends against the cap this year, do you think you could tell me the top 3?
No.
Any guesses? Any guesses?
I have no idea.
Number 1 is George Kittle at $18 million against the cap. Understandable. Great
Okay.
player.
Yeah.
Number 2, Jonnu Smith, New England Patriots, $17.25 million.
He's going to be a casualty.
Fuck.
Number 3, Patriots, Hunter Henry, $15.5 million.
They'll pay Hunter Henry. They're going to let Smith go.
That was going to be my question. Do
Yeah.
you think either of those guys
Are worth it?
make it and or are worth it?
The typical Bill Belichick move would be to let them both walk and draft a guy.
Yeah.
No, that
Do you
I'm
think
not
that's
kidding.
realistically what we
The,
could
the
see
list
happen?
of tight ends in this
Tight end
draft coming
overhaul.
up
Yeah.
is huge.
I know. Do you think both of these guys hit the free agency market?
It could happen. It could happen. I see maybe them signing one out of that.
I mean, if you look at this, on this list, it's George Kittle, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, and then Travis Kelce, Taysom Hill, who's paid as a tight end, Zach Ertz, Darren Waller, CJ Uzama. Those other 2 from the Patriots don't even belong on the list with the rest of these guys because I would take every single guy on this list over them without thinking twice. I don't know how that happened.
Hunter Henry had a really good year last year.
Oh, come on, dude.
What?
Get the
How many
fuck
touchdowns
outta
did he
here.
What was his numbers? Hunter Henry's numbers. What are you pointing at him for?
He's already on it.
Oh,
Because he's so stoned right now that you know how long it
No,
would take him to get
you
the
are
fucking
just
box sheet up?
faster of looking shit up. I don't use.
How many touchdowns did Hunter Henry? You really are you sure you don't want to rescind this before we go forward? Are you sure about
Well, let's
Hunter
hear his
Henry's
numbers.
good year? He had 2 touchdowns.
on the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
He
How
got
many yards did he have?
hold on. Receiving touchdowns. He got 1 against Minnesota. And he got 1 against Cleveland. Yards, let's see. What was his biggest game of the year, receiving wise? His biggest game of the year, he had 3 passes for 70 yards against Arizona
How many yards did he end up with?
on the year.
Production. How many yards? How many catches? How many yards?
Split. Hold
What are you doing here? Fudging
on.
the numbers?
41 catches,
How many?
41 receptions
Okay.
on 59 targets. So good percentage.
Correct.
509 yards and 2 touchdowns in 17 games.
That's
played.
very good production.
Oh, yeah.
That's very good production out of him.
Is it?
I'll take that all day long.
17 million, 15.5
I'll take that all day long.
Please, dude, come on. The fuck out of here with that. Who was that fucking dick that the Lions used after they traded away Hawkinson?
I don't even know.
What was his fucking name? You know.
Brock Wright.
Yeah, I'll take Brock Wright for fucking
Oh my God.
for $100,000 and 3 sacks a piece.
I'll take
I
Brock
hope
Wright
the
for the
Lions
block.
keep Brock Wright. Keep him there.
Anyways, I don't even
Not
know.
his fault.
Why? Whose fault is it then? Oh, you know that's fine. You wanna put it on Belichick's back? That's fine. Okay. Here we go. I got one more for you guys. Sources close to the Dallas Cowboys are quote unquote very intrigued in the possibility of drafting quarterback CJ Stroud if he were to slide to them. Could it be the end of the Dak Prescott era?
If they were smart, they would grab anybody they could.
Do you see that happening with Mike McCarthy there, though?
I don't think Mike McCarthy has a choice.
Mike
Jerry
McCarthy
Jones
just
is the
does what
fucking
he's told.
GM, dude.
What about
think
my
he
guy
just does
Cooper
what he's
Rush,
told?
dude?
Yeah, what are they going to do with Coop?
I personally think he
I'd
should
go
be starting.
forward with him, yeah.
He's the one that should be starting. He's the one that should be making $40 million a year, not Dak Prescott.
Coop?
Hey, look at his numbers next to fucking Dak Prescott's. Give him the opportunity. The guy excelled. They won a lot of games with Cooper Rush.
I can't disagree with you. I think it'd be stupid to let Cooper Rush.
I mean, let's all be honest, dude. What have you seen out of Dak Prescott that makes you think that he can win a Super Bowl?
Nothing.
Tony Romo
Cricket.
was a better quarterback than Dak Prescott
No shit.
and couldn't get them to a fucking Super Bowl. With a lot of talent.
I mean,
Dak Prescott has a lot of fucking
I'm
talent
not a
on
Tony
that team.
Romo guy.
At one time he had Amari Cooper. You got the young
I
kid over
was
there that's
at one
fucking tearing it
point.
up, the kid from Alabama. What's his name? Not Judy. The other one. The other kid from Alabama. Who do they got?
Gallup,
No, not Gallup.
CeeDee Lamb.
He's not bad. CeeDee Lamb. I mean, come on, dude. CeeDee Lamb was a very good fucking wide receiver. One of the top guys in
I think
college.
they all are, actually. I don't think they're bad.
What the fuck, man? What else you got to give this guy? They got Dalton Schultz, who's a very good tight end. You got 2 solid running backs. Speaking of running backs, what's the odds on them signing Tony Pollard?
That's going to be another one to watch.
See, here's the thing. He's got an injury late in the year. Don't know if he's going to be ready for next year. You got the big pink elephant in the room, Zeke Elliott, who commands way too much fucking money for what he's worth. What do they do?
Well, I guess we're going to find out. Because I don't know what to do with Zeke. I don't know what to make of that Pollard
I mean,
situation.
is Zeke, I truly believe he's a cap casualty. There's no way they can justify the money they're paying him.
No, they can't. But, I mean, can you also justify the money that Tony Pollard is going to command? Because you haven't seen Tony Pollard as the solo guy with the load.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if he could handle that.
I don't either. That's why I'm saying I'd let him.
Physically, I don't know if he could handle the load.
Okay. NFL.com
Okay.
gave our end of the season power rankings, the top 10. And I want to know what you guys think and what you would change. Okay? So power rankings going into next season. Are we
Okay.
ready? Before draft, before free agency, right now as it stands, the best
did this
teams.
I feel like we've done this before.
We usually do this during big moments, but we're going to do this, and then we're going to do one more segment.
As of right
94
now.
episodes in, so.
And going
94
forward,
episodes. Huh?
with you, even with all the stuff that's happened up to this day so far?
Right now,
I'm
today.
getting
this-
Okay.
comfortable back
Okay.
here.
Number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think we can argue that.
Nope, can't.
Okay.
I mean, you didn't say yeah.
Well,
sure,
what am I going to
you
say?
said
I can't
fuck
argue
yourself.
it. They
Okay.
won.
Number 2, Philadelphia.
No, can't argue.
They're number 2?
That's the
Yep.
way things
No, I agree with that.
fell. Yeah.
I agree with that. Number 3, Cincinnati. And I agree wholeheartedly with that. I would
Okay.
even consider putting Cincinnati at 2, depending
I
on the Eagles
No.
slump from the Super Bowl loss.
no, I don't think so.
No,
I think 3 is good for them.
I disagree.
Oh, okay.
Am I supposed to say what I'd rather be there?
Well, usually when you disagree with something with the microphone in front of you, you explain.
I'd
why
say
you
the
dis-
49ers.
Well, on this listed as the 49ers at 4, and I agree with that placement because
Until the 49ers can figure out their quarterback
as it
situation,
stands right now,
Right.
they're at 4.
as it stands right now, you got Trey Lance with a bum knee, you got Brock
They
Purdy
have a
with
quarterback situation. Cincinnati has been fine and bad to the Super Bowl and pretty close, and haven't made it very far. So
They made it to the Super Bowl. And
I'm just
to
saying
the AFC
they haven't won
Championship game
anything.
and haven't made it very far.
They haven't won anything.
Well,
Well, there's the 49ers.
San Francisco is
Francisco
a
was in the
quarterback
Super Bowl
away.
3
San,
years
San
ago.
Francisco hasn't been to a fucking Super Bowl in 2 years.
Yeah, but they are a quarterback away.
yes, but guess what? So are the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Anyways,
True.
number 5, and this is where the controversy will begin, the Buffalo Bills.
No.
Nope. They're dropping
No.
far on my list.
I think the
Oh.
Buffalo Bills have seen their.
They're dropping
They
far
you know
on my
what?
list.
You can only get there so much and not be able to get over the proverbial hump.
Before you
And I
say
think that's
this,
where they're at.
before you say all these things,
And the
figure
con-
out who
and the
you're going to put there
controversial-
instead.
Instead of Buffalo?
Yeah.
The
Who
problem
do you
is-
got next on the list?
Dallas.
Fuck. Who do you got after that?
Jacksonville.
I put Jacksonville above both of them.
You can't listen to me. I have the biggest heart on in the world for
I don't care.
Jacksonville.
I don't
No,
care. I'm
But
doing
as
it.
far as
I'm
this
No,
goes,
you know what?
doing
I
it.
would put Dallas in front
I'm
of them.
doing it.
I would
There's
put
a lot of turmoil in Buffalo.
I'd put Dallas 5, Buffalo 6, and leave Jacksonville at. Actually, I
7.
wouldn't leave Jacksonville at 7. I
Why?
would continue to move Jacksonville down lower. I
Go
would
ahead.
flip flop Buffalo and Dallas though, because in all reality, right now, Dallas's defense looks a hell of a lot better than Buffalo's. Their
Oh, yeah.
running game looks a hell of a lot better than Buffalo's. Their offensive line looks a hell of a lot better than Buffalo's.
Yes.
So right now I would put Dallas at 5. I'd move Buffalo to 6,
Correct.
and at 7 they have Jacksonville.
Okay.
I love the Jaguars.
Who's at 8?
At 8, you have the Chargers, who I don't know if they belong there either.
I will say this, and I'm not going to sugarcoat
Are
this.
they just going down the list?
The Chargers
of who's in the
physically,
playoffs.
they beat the shit out of them for 3 quarters and lost.
You'll see why in a second.
The Chargers beat the shit out of them for 3 quarters and
Correct. So
lost. So I am going to put the Chargers in front of Jackson.
I would put the Chargers at 7.
They should never lost that game.
Correct. At 9, the Detroit Lions.
Wait a minute, who's 8?
I told
Jacksonville.
you. No, we have Jacksonville at 7, the Chargers at 8.
I got that reversed.
See,
I'm
my
swapping
problem
those
here
as well.
is
I
I think the Lions are better than the Buffalo Bills and Dallas. Going into next
So
year.
you're putting the
going
Lions
into
at
going
5.
into next year, but I don't think that Dallas nor Buffalo should be that high going in as of what happened and going into next year.
Okay, but you have to understand, that's fine that you don't think they could be that high.
because I think
Then you gotta-
Jacksonville going forward is higher than both of those teams.
So you right now is what I'm asking you.
right now, yes, I'm answering
you're
that
putting
right now.
Right now, you're putting Kansas City 1, Philadelphia 2, Frisco 3, Cincinnati 4, Detroit 5.
No, Jacksonville,
Jacksonville 5, Detroit 6.
Chargers,
Oh, okay.
then Detroit.
I see. I'm going to argue both of you there. The Chargers beat the shit out of the Jacksonville for 3 quarters. The Lions beat the shit out of Jacksonville.
They smoked them.
Smoked them.
Right, and that's why all three I think should be very fairly close to each other
Lions lost to Buffalo by a field goal.
on the chart.
So I'm actually going to argue with you.
Lions lost to Philly by a field goal.
Lost to Philly by a field goal.
And that's why but that's why they're so high up on the
And
list.
now you guys all got to think about what you're going to do at 10 here, because they have Minnesota at 10, and Minnesota's not in my top 10 in any way, shape, or form. So the way that I'm going to lay this out is I'm going to put Kansas City at 1. I'm going to put Philadelphia at 2. I'm going to keep Cincinnati at 3, San Francisco at 4. I'm going to put Dallas at 5.
Okay.
I am going to keep Buffalo at 6.
Okay.
And I am putting Detroit 7.
Oh.
Okay.
I am putting the Chargers 8th.
Okay.
I am putting Jacksonville 9th.
Okay.
And I am taking Minnesota.
Who jumps into your top 10 now?
I'm taking Minnesota out of this. And I was going through the list here, and I brought it up in front of me.
And I'm going to put a name in there.
Hold on.
You guys tell me
before
if
you
I'm
go
crazy
there,
or not.
because I already know what name I think you're going to throw in.
Okay.
There, right? But some other teams that made the playoffs that I didn't think deserved to be in there. Right now, I don't think Baltimore deserves to be in there.
Okay.
I don't think the Giants are a top 10 team, in my opinion.
Okay.
Seattle's interesting. Obviously, Tampa Bay is no longer in this conversation.
Correct.
And I know what team you're going to put at 10, but I am going to pick a team from the same division, and I'm going to put the Miami Dolphins at 10.
Wow, interesting. That could be Seattle too, though.
No, I don't think Seattle's a top 10 team. I'm sorry. Here's what, again.
There was two teams that I'm thinking about putting in there.
I want to agree with you.
One was Miami. The other one was
the
the
Jets.
Yeah.
But they got to figure out what's going on.
What do you mean?
You got to figure out a quarterback situation.
They get Bryce
Just like
Hall.
Baltimore.
They get Bryce Hall and Aaron Rodgers. They're going to the Super Bowl.
Brees. His name is Brees.
Hall.
So what would yours be? So yours is Kansas City, Philly, Cincy,
Damn, can I get
40
the list up?
49ers.
No, I agree with everything you said except for I agree with Miami being at 10.
But would you also go Detroit, Chargers, Jackson?
Yes. Yeah, because I think Detroit would beat all of them.
I think so too. So you agreed that Kansas City should be 1.
Correct.
You agreed that Philadelphia should be 2.
Correct.
You think San Francisco should be 3.
Correct.
You think Cincinnati should be 4.
Correct.
And then you put Jacksonville at 5.
Correct. See, but what you said made a lot.
Don't think too hard. You might get a boner.
Oh, wow.
My,
Let me tell you something.
My problem is, personally, I don't want to put them that high.
Well, then you got Buffalo and Dallas. Because I got news
I don't
for you.
want Buffalo. No
As
doubt.
much as you have
this
engorged scrotum about how much you hate Dallas and Buffalo, at the end of the day, they're better teams right now than
But I don't think so.
Dallas and Buffalo are better than Detroit.
But I don't think so.
Okay, so then you're putting Detroit at 5.
Fuck it, yeah.
Okay, so now for 6, you have the choice
Then I'll go Jacksonville,
at 6.
6, Chargers, 7.
Number 8 comes after 7.
No shit. I'm trying to think.
Okay, who's number 8?
I mean,
I'd put.
Are you trying to say the Buffalo Bills are 8?
Buffalo's better than Dallas, so yeah. So I'd put Buffalo 8.
Okay, Dallas is at 9.
he's taking Dallas out of his top 10.
I really want to.
Listen, say what you want. They're a very talented team.
No,
man.
they are. And
They're only gonna
their
get better
defense
this
is
year.
Very good. So I'll put Dallas at 9.
And then who's 10?
Shit. Not Baltimore.
You see, Baltimore just pisses me off. It's that bubble team, man. It's just
If Lamar Jackson played the last 3 games of the season, they would have been in the
Going
playoffs.
forward, I don't disagree with the Miami sitch.
I think the Dolphins need to be in there.
Yeah.
I really do. The whole thing is if they can get a guy that can
But
stay
the Dolphins beat
healthy,
the Lions.
that'll be the day.
the Dolphins did beat the Lions.
So maybe I'd even.
I don't think it's outrageous to put Detroit in the top 10. I don't think they're a top 5 at all.
I'm sorry, but at the end of that season, at the end of the season, going forward, if you take all the teams right now, the Lions would beat the Buffalo Bills, and the Lions would beat the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, I would say.
Or it would have been. The Buffalo game was closer.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think the Detroit Lions would have gave fucking Kansas City a better game than the Philadelphia Eagles?
Absolutely not.
What?
No.
No.
Do you think the Detroit Lions could have beat the Cincinnati Bengals?
No. No.
Yes, absolutely.
No, I don't.
Do you think the Detroit Lions could have beat The Chargers?
Yes.
I think there's a possibility.
Yeah. Can they beat Dallas
In a playoff game?
in a playoff game?
No.
Yes.
You don't think so? What about Buffalo?
Well,
We already seen them play
In
Buffalo.
a playoff game?
They gave Buffalo everything they could fucking handle. They fucking shit the bed right at the end.
Correct. No.
Huh?
No.
Do you think a year under their belt from where they were? Okay?
Yeah.
After the Buffalo loss, how many games did they lose?
One.
One game.
One.
That game, the trap game that I said that would fucking
Yeah.
come back to haunt them, Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Sorry.
How close are they? How close are they to being in the top 10?
Who?
The Detroit Lions.
Lions
Seriously.
are in the top 10. I don't
do, you,
know.
do you think they will make the playoffs next year?
Listen to me. I'm going to be brutally fucking honest with you here. They are currently 4th in Super Bowl betting to make
They also
to win the
have-
NFC.
What?
They're 4th
Are you serious?
as far as NFC team goes. I
They
believe
You
play
didn't put no
KC
money on
this
that
year,
yet, did you?
And they
No.
play. Oh, I guess that division.
they're
so.
the teams above them to go to the Super Bowl out of the NFC, I believe it was Philadelphia, Dallas. It was Philadelphia, Frisco, and Dallas, and then the Lions.
Wow.
So in all reality, this leads me in. Are we at an hour yet? We're pretty goddamn close, aren't
Yeah.
we? Okay. This leads me into the last segment of this season. I thought about mine a little bit. I've got 3 things that I want to predict now for next year.
Okay.
Okay. So I want you guys to, I know, compile it in your head real quick, but I'm going to go through my 3 first. Number 1, the Cincinnati Bengals.
So this is a prediction then?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a prediction. 3 things that we're predicting for next year right now.
Okay.
1, the Cincinnati Bengals will be holding the Lombardi Trophy in Las Vegas next February. I just think that the stars will finally align. I think they've been this fucking close 2 years in a row, literally that close. I think they do what they have to do to get 2 entire offensive lines, so that way when the first one goes down, they have a second one, and I think that they get it figured out this year and win the Super Bowl. With as much talent on that team, and Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, I think Burrow takes a team-friendly contract, keeps the band together. Joe Mixon has a RB1 type year, and they win. They finally get their first Super Bowl. That's prediction number 1. Prediction number 2. The Detroit Lions win the NFC North and win 11 games. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be out of the division. I think Minnesota really showed that they were way
real
overvalued. They got very lucky this year. I think Minnesota's going to be right there with Detroit most of the way, because I still think Minnesota's a 9 or 10 win team. Ultimately, Green Bay losing Aaron Rodgers, God knows what Chicago's going to do. I think this is the Lions division to lose. I think they will win at least 11 games in the process, win the division, and have a home playoff game. That's prediction number 2 for me. Prediction number 3. Aaron Rodgers will start the season in a Las Vegas Raiders uniform.
Interesting.
Those are my 3 way too early hot take predictions for the next season. You got anything for me?
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
That's interesting. I like the Bengal prediction. I think that's, if you're going to go with the trend and what's been going on, and there's a few clowns that guess who the fucking winning Super Bowl team is in the beginning of the year. And I too seen the Bengals. That's some cat who's been right the last 21 times in the Super Bowls. Has the Bengals winning it next.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
going
just
off
some
of
guy,
pure
I don't know
gut.
who the fuck he is, some prediction guy who knows. But I think you're going to see a couple of things, and I too think the Lions will win their division this year. I see them possibly winning a playoff game. If they get a home game, I think they'll win it. If they're on the road, I don't think they will. That's my prediction on
You're
it.
supposed to come up with your own here. You're not just supposed to
Well,
agree with how
I'm just
smart I
saying
am.
that's
Oh,
what I feel.
you're just
about
giving
that.
me comments.
You want my
on
own?
mine.
Okay,
I
here's
want
my
your own.
here's my prediction right now. Tom Brady's gonna fucking sneak his scummy ass back into this
Let's
fucking league,
go, baby.
and I just don't want it to happen. Please, Commissioner Roger Goodell, do something about it. It's absurd. I don't want to see him.
So-
Aaron Rodgers will fucking retire. I don't think we'll see Aaron Rodgers this year. I think he went on his blackout retreat. He's going to smoke some peyote and take off with the hot piece of ass I seen him with in a photo the other day. Some young girl, and you know what? She's going to make him feel young, and he ain't ever going to play again. And God bless him. God bless Aaron Rodgers. My third one is this. The Buffalo Bills will not make the playoffs next year.
Oh, wow.
That was mine.
You heard it here. You heard it here first. What?
Go, Bruce. You're up.
Shit, dude. The Lions one was quite interesting, actually. I think you're wrong about Cincinnati. I think you see Aaron Rodgers in a Jets uniform. And I think you see Tom Brady in the playoffs.
There's no way New England's going to win their division. You know what? I retract that.
You know what?
There's a reason why I retract it. I think the Jets are going to be better. I think the Dolphins are going to be fucking really somebody to contend with. They can get a quarterback that can stay upright. They'll be somebody to contend with. And I see Buffalo taking a step back. If they don't get B.J. Robinson in this draft, a good fucking running back, I don't see them going anywhere.
I agree with that.
Lions going all the way, baby.
Okay. You think Lions? Are you predicting a Lions Super Bowl?
I'm predicting the Lions are going to be in the Super Bowl.
And lose to the Cincinnati Bengals?
Detroit, Cincinnati Super Bowl. Okay. So.
Yeah, you know what's weird? Back in 1982, it should have been a Detroit, Cincinnati Super Bowl at the Pontiac Silverdome.
Wow.
What?
Wow. Okay. So let's wrap.
49ers.
Oh, also
Super Bowl one for Joe Montana.
From one drunk to another.
The greatest to ever play the game.
From one drunk to another, the Colts have hired Jim Bob Cooter as their offensive.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What is he doing? Who's the fucking coach there now?
We talked about it the other day.
Who was the coach there? Who got hired as head coach there? One of those Nick Sirianni fucking dump
the defensive
offs?
coordinator.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You're going to hire Jim Bob Cooter? They tried that here in Detroit. You know what happened with that? That was fucking a shit show. Shit show.
Shit show.
He's fucking trash, dude. He's trash.
Anyway.
How do these guys keep getting regurgitated? I don't fucking understand
Listen
it.
to me. Jim Bob Cooter was a great offensive coordinator until he got caught with his cock in his hand at a McDonald's drive-thru after he drank a fifth of bourbon.
Do you remember that?
Anyways, I do.
You remember that? They caught him with his pants around his fucking ankles.
Going to some fucking.
Talking about I didn't know I was naked. Yeah. I thought my pants were up.
Oh. Anyways,
Oh.
what else do you have to add? We're ending.
This prime stuff.
Almost.
This prime stuff is absolutely shit water.
Jake Paul's gonna come find you for that.
Whatever, dude. Come on. Time to bring his brother too.
Is that what you're
Bring
gonna
them
fight?
both.
Paul brothers?
Bring them both. I'll fight both of them.
Is that what's gonna
Yes,
happen?
I will fight both of them for free.
He won't be alone.
You don't have to give me
You're
any
gonna fight
fucking
him?
money. I will fight both of them
We'll
for
get
free.
the boys.
Let's stop
We'll
here
get the
for
boys.
a second
What?
and think if we got this podcast to a level to where you guys were fighting tag team against Jake and Logan Paul.
I don't need any help. I got them both
Well,
Easily.
he's got to be in there.
easily.
Anyways, do you have anything?
Yeah.
I'm a fucking
It'd have to
killer,
be a
dude.
tag team.
I'm a killer. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a fucking killer.
Stone Cold Killer.
Call him out. Fucking call him out.
Listen, I'm older than both of them put together, and I'll fight both of them. Give me a fucking bottle of bourbon and a couple of fucking, what is that? Couple lines of cocaine. I'll fight them both. I'll fight them both tomorrow. 2 lines of cocaine and a bottle of bourbon, and I'll fight. You know what? I'll fight the whole crowd.
Do you have anything?
Been there and done that.
We've been doing this for a year. Do you have anything to say to the people? Anything to
I hope
add?
you guys have enjoyed our show. I hope it's informative. Don't listen to everything we say because it's a little off, I'm sure. And guys, come on back. You want to hear more? It's going to get more outrageous as the time goes on because I'm old and senile. So it will get worse and worse by episode. So you're going to want to see the train wreck that this is. I like trains.
Bruce?
Choo-choo.
You know? Thank you. If you are listening to this,
What the fuck?
it's been pretty fun. Watching your senile, torn meniscus, bald Santa head looking, just got off the construction site.
Bruce is woke, by the way. He's a trans testicle.
Anyways, so some updates.
All you trans people, don't be offended by that. Yes, Bruce is a trans testicle.
I am not.
Anyways, some updates on broadcasting going forward. One, we will be taking the next month off to go on a hiatus.
Smoke
and
some peyote with Aaron Rodgers and Bruce.
to smoke peyote with Aaron Rodgers
Get
and
his
Bruce.
meniscus torn again.
It's very important to keep up with our socials for when we are going to be back. We will be revamping them heavily. We're going to come out with a little bit of a new look in season 2, and we need a little bit of time to get that all in order. So stay tuned for that. Trust me, when we are coming back, it will be all over our socials. So just keep up there. And we're going to try and do a much better job of delivering content to you guys and keeping you in the loop on what is going on going forward. Obviously, this first year was the first year any of us have been doing anything even close to this. I mean, he's been working in produce for 45 years, and I've been doing the same for about 10, and Augustino hasn't done anything yet. But
I worked.
this is
with
our
the
first
produce
go at it.
for a year or half a year.
You made it like 6 weeks. This is our first go at it.
5 months.
And we're going to come back bigger and better than ever in a few weeks. So stay tuned to that. Check out our socials, Instagram and Twitter at TipBalls, TikTok, TipBalls Podcast. If you go on there one day and see nothing on there, don't be shocked because we're going to wipe that shit fucking clean. And that's it for season 1. That's it for season 1. Bruce, you got something to play us here?
Adios, muchachos. Vaya con Dios.